Hey you guys, what's up? I'm really excited because we get to create our very first login. So let's go ahead and do this. So let's go ahead and create a new project if you guys would like. However, I'm just going to use the one that I just previously used so I don't have to take up even more space up on my computer. So go ahead and just delete everything if you're doing the same thing as me. So after you've created a whole new form, just create a button and simply two text boxes. So after you've done so, we want to align these like it's a login. We're not going to create a register form today. We will probably do that eventually, but just not today. And when we get to that, it will be very complex and you guys will have learned a lot. So let's go ahead and create our login. Now before anything, we need to create our strings. Now these strings are going to be first our username, and then second, our password. So let's go ahead and create these. Dim, which means we're declaring a username as string is equal to whatever you want the username to be. Dim password as string is equal to whatever you want the password to be. Now this is going to be very simple. Let's say the username we want it to be kshadow22. We want the password to be 22. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. So now we have the username field and the the username and password field. But just so people recognize that, you do want to label that. I found that very useful, just to label that so they don't think like there's an ID or something that goes there. Username, just so they feel more comfortable with what they're inputting. Password. Okay, so now let's go ahead and give this a shot. We know that text box 1 is the very first text box, text box 2 is the second text box. So what we can do is create an if statement. If text box 1.text is equal to our string, which is username, then let's go ahead and check if text box 2 is equal to password. By the way, this is very simple. And what we're creating right now is a nested if statement. We're going to have an if statement, then we're going to create another if statement inside this if statement. So basically, we just created a nested if statement, which means there's an if statement inside of an if statement. So if text box 2.text is equal to our string, which is password, then let's have something happen. And we're going to say message box, and we're going to say logged in. Now initially you can replace this with any function, and you could have it open a brand new form and minimize this, whatever. Okay, however, if this is not the case, we're going to say, hey, let's there's something wrong here. So we're going to put else, and we're going to put else here. We can't, we could just say, hey, your information is incorrect, but in this case we want to say specifics, which normally you do not want to give out specifics for security reasons. Password is incorrect. And then we can go here and say message box username is incorrect. So now let's give this a whirl, and let's just successfully input our information the first time. So shadow 22 and 22 logged in. Okay, now let's say our password is incorrect. Password is incorrect. If our username is incorrect and our password, it's not going to tell us both are incorrect. It's just going to say username is incorrect. Even if we correct our password, it's going to just say username is incorrect. So until we fix the username, it's going to tell us that. So this is one way to use strings. Let's say you're too lazy to create a short or integer data type. You can always just put a string just in case. Or if you're unsure whether you will need characters inside your integer, then just go with string just to keep it safe. Also, if you are using hexadecimal somewhere in your application or anything other than base 10 and higher, Actually, if you're using anything base 10 and higher, you will definitely need a string because those will contain characters. So that's all for this video. If you want to stay and watch, I will demonstrate what base 10 is, base 2, base 3, and base 16, which is hexadecimal. And I will just go over those value types. Just very easy. I'm not going to teach you guys anything. Just go over them. So hey, you guys, you just chose to stay. So binary. This is basically base 2. And by base 2, it means that it has zeros and it has ones. Our numbering system, which is decimal, also known as base 10, has 10 places. It has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not 10, tricked you. It starts with 0. So as you can see here, it has 0, then it has 1. 0, 1. So base 2 has the very first 2. And basically all these bases are based off the base 10 in some way or another. Then we have ternary. Ternary is base 3. Now hopefully you guys can guess what's coming up. It's just 0, 1, and 2. Basically how these work is you can really calculate any of these values just by using this kind of formula. 1, 0 to the 0 to the third power, second power, and actually you just go forth. And actually you would replace those zeros with an x. So whatever number you are using, so ternary, so base 2, it's going to be 2 to the second, actually 0, and then 2 to the first, 2 to the third, and then etc. So then the same thing happens when you get into ternary. Basically, let's say you have 210 in ternary. Basically what this is saying is, first of all, in the very 0 place you have 0. No matter what, if it's 0, it's off, it's 0. And then in the next place here is the 1. So this is actually going to be 3 to its first power. So 3 to its first power times 1. Because actually this 1 will go out front. So basically here we have 3. Then we go on to 2. And we have 2 to the, actually, be 2 times 3 to its second power. I believe I'm doing this right. This would be 3. Yes, this would be 3. And then this here would give us 9 times 2 is equal to 18. So I said we have 3 plus 18 is equal to 21, and that is our value in ternary. So it's something cool. I didn't really try to teach you base 3 because I'm not even fully equipped in base 3 yet. So then next we have hexadecimal. Now this may be a little confusing because now we are going into what you can call imaginary numbers in a way. So here hexadecimal is actually equivalent to base 16, and these bases can range anywhere from like base 2 all the way to like base 1,000 or 1,000,000, whatever you want to use. It's going to get crazy for yourself, but normally you will see anything from binary to decimal to ternary and to hexadecimal. Ternary only shows up really when someone's really trying to create some kind of crazy project. So hexadecimal is used in a lot of programming. So let's go ahead and demonstrate this. So of course you have these values, right? These are the regular base 10, but then we have 6 more values. So what are we going to do with those 6 values? Well, these are simply A, B, C, D, E, F. These are our 6 extra values. So what this actually looks like is we have 0. You can replace these with anything. So this is actually our hexadecimal counting system here. So you can actually get to numbers very quickly with this, and you can also do it with anything besides base 10. Base 10 is just, the reason why we have base 10 today is because we have 10 fingers, and that's just basically how we first started off as humans. So I'm not going to really go over a whole lot on hexadecimal or the rest of these. Just know that decimal, binary, ternary, and hexadecimal, all these numbers and symbols that we use are just symbols, and they can be replaced with anything else. So in binary, these can be done with A's and K's, and that could be binary code right here. When really, they could just be dots and commas, the way that they are. Or they could be dots and spaces. Or like in Morse code, we have deets and dots, you know. So, and then, actually they wouldn't be that long, but yeah. Okay, so that's the main thing. They could be smiley faces even. So a smiley face is a 1, and then a frowny face is a 0. So these things can be really anything, and they are very interesting to learn. And actually, once you learn just a few, you'll get the process, and you'll be able to figure out any other kind of base code you want. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this interesting thing. Let's go on to the next thing, the next lesson, which will be, I'm not sure. So let's go on.